I'm Tyler.
I'm Shorty.
I'm Ava.
And welcome
to the Inner Idiot.
This podcast contains graphic language, violence, and other things that you probably should not let your children listen to. Please enjoy.
We recording? Did you hit the button?
Yeah.
Is the button good? Are we recording?
It's
so they can hear me talking.
Hey, am I cool to hit this in here?
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Oh, well, there we go. We're here. You hear the music. You hear me talking. That's right. Put your ugly kids to bed. Set the deuce loose. Strap in. We're doing hood rat shit today. That's right. Welcome to the Inner Idiot. I am your host, Tyler Havlin. And I have nothing interesting to say about myself today. So we're going to get right to my first co-host of the day. You're doing hood rat shit, okay?
Golly.
The Lord that's never bored, the commander of the comic books. And he ain't got no shirt on. Lord Shorty Fresh in the flesh. 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo!
Yay. Here I am.
How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm awake.
You good? All right.
Yeah.
I'm done with you now.
I was awake before you got here.
I know. I saw the message on the thread. And next up, but definitely not least, well, I guess you're only supposed to say that for the last one, but I'm going to say it for you. Old Flamehead herself, that's right, red hair, don't care, Miss Ava B. 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! Ava, now I promise I'm not going to cut you off today, okay? So how was your day?
It was
And next up, we got, no, seriously, how was your day? How was the movie last night?
It was good.
Okay, next up is Jay Armstrong. That's right. He's not just a comic. He has an album on Pandora called Live from the
Drop.
Live from the Drop. He's also a published author. He's here to confuse and annoy as many people as possible. 2 claps and a Ric Flair for Mr. J. Armstrong. Woo!
Can't even pronounce author.
I can't, man.
You wrote it down. You stupid
Yeah.
bastard.
How you doing today, Jay?
Man, I'm good. I'm enjoying the summer.
Yeah?
Enjoying the cicadas. I mowed my yard in the midst of mayhem this morning.
I'm telling you, that it's like the last 3 days they've learned how to fly again.
I don't know that they've learned very well because they crash into shit constantly. It's like they don't even look.
They're butt fucking retarded.
Yeah, they are. They really, really are. Man, it's a good thing that y'all didn't pull up about 10 minutes earlier and see me break my fucking neck in the front yard because something landed on my goddamn ear.
I was taking a shit, and all this in here, oh, fuck! But what just happened? And then Donnie comes out of his room, he's like, is everything okay? Like, fucking everybody.
Hey, so we're going to get into today's top 5. I didn't give you guys today's top 5 because y'all don't have kids. Jay, do you have a top 5 prepared on what I sent? Or are we just going to feed off each other here?
I got 1 out of 5, but the 1 is 5 because people think that being a parent is harder than it is. And it's because parents want credit for shit that's not that difficult.
This is true. So, obviously, today's top 5 is the top 5 things that people conceive incorrectly about parents. And that's it. Sometimes it's not as hard as people think.
It's never as hard as people. Not when they're little anyway. People are terrified of having babies. You know what I mean? It's like people worry about an infant. And an infant's easy, man. It lays, it poops, it cries. That you feed it, you change it. That's pretty much it. Wash it here and there.
See, I was always terrified when my 2 girls were infants. So, like, on nights I was home, because I worked 3rd shift most of the time when they were babies, I would sit there and just stare at them and watch them sleep like, you better not stop breathing. You better not. Like, I just freaked the fuck out. But they never stopped breathing. They always kept breathing, so it turned out good. I worried for nothing.
Yeah, man. Just don't kill nothing, don't let nothing die. Like, it's the whole deal is
It's like
infants.
a house plant, but more expensive.
Yeah.
It's not even that, and when they're infants, man, they're not even that expensive. Like,
I don't know, man. I've seen diaper prices.
Yeah, but you don't go through them as fast as people think.
Yeah, you can let them pee in it twice, you know.
I mean, they drop a deuce in it, you got to change that, obviously,
right,
but I mean, diapers, they're not that expensive. Not like people think it's like this life-changing financial thing, and it's really not, man. Now, I'm not trying to encourage dumb motherfuckers to have kids, thinking that you're just going to be all right.
Your entire last sentence just did that.
Right? Yeah, that's what I was saying. I realized that as it was coming out of my mouth. Please don't take a steaming dump in the gene pool if you're a fucking idiot. But I mean, they're really pretty chill, man, and it's not as expensive as people think. It's when they become teenagers that the shit becomes difficult.
I don't know. I got one that we're going to talk about on this day
That's
in
how I was a
history.
good teenager, other than the way I dressed.
Yeah.
But of course, I was raised by Christian parents. So.
Yeah. All right, well, here's my top 5. Number 5 of the misconceptions people have about being a parent is number 5, that we have our shit together. Now, I know y'all don't have this misconception about me. You know I ain't got my shit together. But people think that the moment that child is born, that you just magically have your shit together. Like, nope, I just act like I do for that kid's sake.
I don't think people think that, man.
Really?
No.
Not one bit.
I don't think that's a common misconception. I think that more often than not, people look at new parents like, fuck, I hope you don't kill that kid.
Maybe.
Accurate as fuck.
Well, as a kid, I thought my parents had their shit together.
Yeah, no, as a kid, but kids are dumb.
This is true.
You're
That's what-
absolutely right, dude. Like, I completely assumed my parents knew what the fuck they were doing.
But from stories, like, I think your parents might have had that shit figured out.
They also had to deal with completely, like, hellions before me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, like, my older siblings are 10 to 15 years older than I am.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then me and my sister are a year apart. And so, but the oldest two were just completely buck wild and retarded. Like, they did everything wrong that they possibly could. And then me
I
and
feel
my
like I
sister...
probably know him.
Probably. But then when we got to this, age, we could like realize what the fuck was going on. I was looking at my brothers like, okay, so this is what not to do.
Right.
Got it. So like my mom and dad straight up said like, God, you guys were a blessing. Like, you're right. The first two fucked it up good enough for the rest of us.
That's right. All right, number 4, that once that kid is born, you magically know how to cook. And I'm here to fucking tell you, cooking to me is making some goddamn mac and cheese and throwing hot dogs in it. That's how I cook.
Kids love that, though.
I fucking love that. I'll even crumple up some crackers, maybe throw some baked beans in it for spice. Oof.
You disgust me.
Yeah, well, Number 3 is you lose interest in childish or hood rat shit. That is
That
completely...
is bullshit.
That is false, because I'm going to go home tonight and I'm gonna fucking snort a line of Takis off my old lady's right butt cheek. That's what I'm going to do. Taki dust, not the whole Taki, because that motherfucker gets stuck in your nose. Don't look at me like that. That's my version of the fucking Rona vaccine. If you can survive a line of Taki dust to the right nostril, straight to the goddamn brain.
What are those things Chris always eats?
Yes.
Okay.
That was her input. She didn't talk long enough for me to cut her off that time, though.
Right.
Ava, we love you.
Oh, we do.
Thank you. All right. So that was number 3, right? Number 2 is you think all kids and babies are cute, and I'm here to fucking tell you they are not. Babies are fucking hideous half the time. And if a kid is ugly, I will not tell you that your kid is cute. Because that baby is ugly and you need to get a fucking refund. Adoption is always an option when your kids are ugly.
You got cute kids, Jay?
Cute enough.
You said cute
enough.
Cute enough I didn't put them motherfuckers up for adoption.
Right, and I feel the same way about my dogs. I tell the dogs all the time, like, you're lucky you're cute.
Yeah. Because they're dumb as a box of clocks.
Not all of my kids are dumb. I
thought we were talking about the dogs, but go ahead.
No, all the dogs
are.
are dumb as shit, dude. I got there are 3 Chihuahua mixes: a Wiener Dog Chihuahua mix, a Pug Chihuahua mix, and a Fox Terrier Chihuahua mix, and they're all high-strung fucking idiots.
Chihuahuas are dumb as shit.
And they're always angry. I got bit by a Chihuahua once, and my fucking thumb swelled up and turned green. I thought I was gonna die.
We had a guy come out to do some HVAC work on our house this morning, and he's like, "Well, they sound little, man." I was like, "Yeah, but what they lack in size, they make up for in speed and determination."
That's how I feel.
They come with a dumb idea, and they're getting it done. It doesn't matter how many times they have to try. If you've never had a wiener dog, man, they just launch themselves at shit. Like, they don't even, aim. They just see what they want to go for and then just spring towards it and hope that they land somewhere near it.
I mean, if they turn sideways, they got a longer midsection. They're gonna hit something.
Yeah. Oh no, they hit usually the ground. You know how cats always land on their feet?
Yeah.
We've got the Wiener Dog Chihuahua mix. His name is Alistair Growley, and he is not graceful at all. He fucking falls on his belly, on his side. He's a goddamn mess.
Sounds like my 3-year-old child, not a dog. All right. Anyways, number 1. All right. And here is the biggest misconception. I swear to Jesus, I swear to fucking Ra, I swear to Jesus. The moment you have a kid, people automatically assume that you like kids. I don't fucking like kids. I can barely stay on my own. I love the little motherfuckers. But other people's kids, I don't like them. I got a pie chart for my kid, for fucking patience for kids. 98% of that pie chart is filled with the dumb shit that my kids do. 2% of that is your child saying, look what I can do one goddamn time. After that, I'm done. Do you like other people's kids?
Sometimes, man. Sometimes kids are cool. Sometimes kids are all right. I like that other people, like, I have some friends whose kids I don't particularly care for, but the fact that they got the opportunity to experience parenthood, because being a parent's pretty cool, man. Like, it really is. Like, people complain about it all the time. I love being a dad. And I've gotten to take my kids to do cool stuff. You know what I mean? That most parents wouldn't. Dude, my 15-year-old now, I took him to see Slayer and Behemoth when he was like 11.
Fuck yes. That's a good father.
Dude, he was crowd surfing at 11, you know, over concrete at this Extreme Live place up in Columbus.
I know where you're at.
And because it's concrete, like that whole pit area, that's concrete, man.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier to stay up, but when you go down, man,
it hurts.
yeah.
I'm an active mosh pitter, dude. I know.
I'm not like I used to be, man. I'm 41 years old.
Right.
I wouldn't have guessed a day over 43, sir.
The last time that I was in like a real pit was during Despised Icon and Carnifex up in Chicago like 3 or 4 years ago.
Hell yeah.
And dude, I'm too old for that shit, but Carnifex does the Wall of Death shit, and I can't not do that. You know what I mean?
I feel you, dude.
I promised my wife on our way up there that I wouldn't get in. And then when they separated the floor out, I pushed her to the back, and I was like, I'll be right back.
They did the last show not the last show I went to, but one of them I actually took my nephew Donnie with me when he was 17. And we get there, and we're sitting in the metal show, and Donnie is not a athletic human being. He does not know how to stand on his feet very well.
So it's kind of like his Chihuahua Dachshund.
Yeah, exactly,
okay.
Right. Excuse me. But I forget who was playing, but they were separating the crowd for Wall of Death. And I did almost the same exact thing. Pushed him to the side. I said, Donnie, I will be right back. And I took off. Well, this dumb motherfucker didn't hear me. So he fucking follows my ass. And, like, the fucking wall hits. We're going, it turns into a circle pit. And then, all of a sudden, I'm, like, dancing around the circle. And I just see Donnie's big ass, disappear. I was like, oh, that motherfucker's down. Then we get out of the show or whatever, and I see him, like, limping. I was like, you all right? He's like, I think I sprained my ankle. I was like, motherfucker, why didn't you stay? I told you to stay. He's like, I didn't hear you.
I saw this kid get his leg broke, like L, like his shin. His shin went like an L at Black Dahlia murder down at the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
Man, that was a brutal one.
Is Mad Hatter still around?
No, man, they demolished the building.
Did they? No, I don't go down there
Which is a huge
much.
shame, man, because that one wall was such a beautiful mural.
My homeboy Frank owned that place, man. I had a lot of fun down there.
Yeah. We used to go, dude, from like in 2009 to 2012. We were there almost every single Friday and Saturday.
Right
just
on.
in there fucking rocking out. Me, Trevor, and Otto.
I want to say the only show I seen there was like Blue October.
That was a good show. I was there for that.
I really feel like that's the only one I went to there. Yeah. So, Ava, have we turned you off from having children, or has Jay talked you into having children?
I already wanted kids.
Oh, so you're one of those dumb motherfuckers. Okay.
Kids are cool, man. You just got to realize that there's going to be there's going to be decisions that you have to make to be responsible. You know, I mean that's the hardest part about really being a parent is turning down stuff that you would normally do and go have fun when you don't have any responsibility.
Right.
But the payoff is for me it was worth it. I mean, your genetics might be shit for all I know. It might not be worth it. You might have dumb, ugly kids. They might grow up to be
I mean, she's cute.
Should
as
I
hell.
be offended or not?
No, you're cute as a button.
They might grow up to be suburban podcasters. That's,
Oh, yep. You definitely don't
Shots
want
fucking
that.
fired. Shots fucking fired here.
All right, with that, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back in this day in history. And then after that, it's all about Jay.
Okay.
Yay. Hit the button.
Yay.
Hit the button, Shorty. Hit it. Hit it. Hit the button. Did you hit it?
No.
Hit it.
Hit it now. Do it.
Getting really.
Hey, Ty, if you wanted to make a podcast, how would you do it?
Spotify Podcasters app, of course. Or hell, even the website.
Do they have any way you can edit audio and help with organizing your episodes?
All that and more. You can reach out to listeners and have feedback with their Q&A feature, and it distributes it to all other major places you listen to podcasts.
I just looked, and they got a video podcast set up and editing tools here, too.
So all you got to do is sign up at spotifyforpodcasters.com or get the app, and you're done.
Damn, it's just that easy.
And we're back. It is June 8th, 2020, dumb. I saw you hit the button
I'm
that
gonna
time.
start hiding that now.
Yeah?
I'm gonna start hiding it like down here on my little monitor.
You're
That
just
way
going to drop the screen, huh?
Yeah, that way you can't see it. That way you fucking get surprised and shit.
All right, well, I only got one on this day in history for y'all today. On this day in history, it was June 8th, 2011. My oldest girl was born. Today is her birthday.
Aw.
And she has yet to suck every ounce of soul I have left. I still have some. And the youngest one's taking care of that, so. But that's my only on this day in history. So, if I can get 2 claps and Ric Flair for my oldest, Kira, happy birthday, baby girl. Daddy loves you. I know you're not going to hear this, but 2 claps and Ric Flair. Woo!
Yeah.
All right, you got anything for today?
Nobody that I want to mention.
So who don't you want to mention?
Linda Carter and the Weasel.
Well, you still mentioned them. Yeah, Linda Carter's boring.
Linda Carter sucks.
Yeah. All right.
By
So,
the Weasel, do you mean Pauly Shore?
no, not that cool of a weasel.
No, it's a side character from the Cable comics back in the mid '80s. Fucking trash character nobody gives a fuck about. I'm waiting for him to show up in the Marvel movies and like, oh man, everybody loves the Weasel. Like nobody loves the Weasel.
I didn't even know who the fuck he was. My
Exactly
my
right.
first thought was Pauly Shore also.
Right.
Me and my oldest daughter actually do the weasel though. All right, so like I said, today's all about Jay. Jay, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a dude.
Yeah.
Good to know.
And that dude is a gender neutral term in that situation. I'm a human being. I'm alive. I'm an adult. I'm a father. Obviously, I'm a grandfather.
You're a grandfather.
I am,
Holy
man.
shit, dude. I seriously wouldn't have guessed.
It's here's what's crazy. It felt super weird when she told us, right? Like I'm too young for this shit. But she was 18 when my granddaughter was born. I was 22 when she was born. It's really not that weird.
No, I guess
Like,
not.
it seems like it should be weirder than it is, but when you do the math, it's like, you know what? It's acceptable.
Yeah, it's acceptable. You graduate, you're out of high school.
You said 41 years old, right? That's
Yeah.
how old you are. So like, if you have a kid when you're 20, and then your kid has a kid when they're 20, it all works out.
Yeah, it's not that weird.
Yeah,
but
it's
it feels like when I was a kid, I felt like my grandparents were so old.
Right.
You know what I mean? My granddaughter's grandfather, me, like, I will still go to fucking metal shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's I don't know. It's we don't go by grandma and grandpa. It's grandpa and grampus. It's
Right.
like Krampus. but
Yeah.
grandpa.
I like it.
Definitely.
That's good.
Good. Thanks for giving him your approval, Shorty.
It means nothing.
I'm a stand-up comic. I'm a writer. I'm a photographer. It's
How long have you been doing comedy?
about 10 years, a little over.
10 years. And how'd you start into comedy?
Actually, at the Mad Hatter.
At the Mad Hatter. Dope.
So at the time, I was hanging out with a bunch of like straight edge hardcore kids, and
Sure.
one of them that I knew pretty well had heard me talk about how I wanted to do stand up, and you know those kids all book their own shows; they don't wait for somebody else.
Right.
You know? So he hits me up and he's like, "Hey, I'm doing this comedy/music show down at the Hatter. Do you want to do some time?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And I felt I had an advantage because all the kids that were there were like these straight edge hardcore kids, right? And I don't take drugs. I hang out with those kids, like I know them. And then all the other comics that were on the show were like stoners doing jokes about drinking and smoking dope and shit, you know. And I say smoking dope instead of getting high because like that's how it felt in that room.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it felt goofy and. Those kids just stood there with their arms folded, staring meanly, you know what I mean? Not laughing. And then I went up, and partly it's because I knew so many people like directly in the crowd. Not just
Right.
like I know what kind of people they are, but like I knew them. And I did pretty well, and I felt pretty good about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing this every chance I get. And it's been a wild ride, man. It really is. Like we were talking about Pauly Shore. I've worked with Pauly twice.
Oh, have you
really?
really?
Yeah, he was nice to me. He was not nice to his assistant that he brings with him, and I don't know. I really feel like the reason that people don't want to work is because bosses are terrible.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So if you have an assistant, like you should I really was disheartened by that. You know. But I mean, I've got to work with a bunch of famous people. The dad from Friday, John Witherspoon, before he passed, I got to work with him. Guy Torrey from American History X, if you know who that is. You guys ever seen that movie?
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's been years.
Is he the cellmate that converts him?
yeah, the guy that
Yeah.
works in the laundry with
Yeah.
him. And
Yeah, he's hilarious.
yeah, dude's super cool too. The first time I ever featured at a Funny Bone was for Burt Kreischer, who everybody knows now.
Oh,
yeah.
everybody loves Bert.
Rob Snyder. I just opened for Chris Kattan from Saturday Night Live and did a photo shoot for that show. And I don't know, it was a bunch of famous people. You know what I mean? I got to perform at Taft Theater. You know, I never
yeah.
expected to do that. I had my name at on the marquee at Bogart's. You know, which, man, when I was 14, 15, Bogart's was a spot.
Yeah.
You know.
So when's your next show coming up? Now that we're
I
back
don't
to
have a
live.
date for it now. I was supposed to have a date for it 2 days ago, which is why I was like, "Give me a day, I got you."
Yeah.
And the dude never replied. But stuff it's coming back, but people who own venues are overwhelmed at this point because they're trying to get as much as they can because of how much they missed over the last year.
Right.
So people get themselves. I feel like a lot of venues, a lot of bars, a lot of places in general are going to have this weird period where customer service is terrible and there's hiccups in every event, you know, because everybody's just, we're not used to doing shit. You know what I
you're out
mean?
of practice.
And now we're trying to book a year out, you know, especially stuff we got the word here in Kentucky and Ohio got the word pretty abruptly. You know what I mean? It was like 4 days before the mask mandates dropped that DeWine over in Ohio was like, we're going to drop all the mandates. You guys can go back to doing whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
So when you're used to having 3 months of events booked at a time, suddenly now you need something for next week and every day following that. It's difficult to catch up. And so I'm trying to cut every venue owner that I'm working with, you know, slack because of that. And, you know, one of the things that I do in my life that makes being a parent easier for me too. Speaking of that, is I try to understand rather than to be understood. I try to see where what's their issue. I can operate better that way. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, if there's an issue that we're having and I don't understand why we're having the issue, then there's no solution to that issue. You know, so I'm trying to cut all these bookers, all these venue owners, as much slack as I can, especially the ones that run cool venues. The guy that's been on point the most is Paul down at Bierkus in Ludlow. It's a circus-themed brewery, and he was a Ringling Brothers clown.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures that you had actually posted.
Such a cool venue, man.
And that
I don't even drink and I want to go see it.
we will go. But the owner of the venue actually gets up and he involves himself in the
Yeah,
show.
he performs.
No shit.
Yeah, it's
Juggles fire and knives, and
I want to see a goddamn clown.
he doesn't dress up like a clown anymore.
Fuck.
But, he,
Amy, you want to go? Oh, you're not 21. Fuck.
I don't know. Do you have to be 21 to get into a bar? I think you just have to be 21 to sit at the bar.
I think if they...
I wonder if we
Doesn't
say
even, like,
she's
an
our
X?
DD. I wonder if we say she's our DD, she can get in. Because
Well,
that used to be the
'Cause
case
they
for
serve
me.
food, though. It's
if
not
they serve
just a
food,
bar.
then usually it's 18 and up.
Because, kids going to B-dubs. That's a bar.
Yeah,
Fair.
Applebee's is a bar. TGI Fridays is a bar.
right. Yeah, I think the moment you serve food is when you can allow 8.
I think it's a
18.
percentage.
Is it?
I think
Yeah.
more than a quarter of your sales has to come from food.
Okay. So what?
Or maybe it's 3/4. I don't know.
What's been your favorite show to date? Like, what show did you do and you're just like, you know what, this is it. This is it right here.
That's a hard question. That's the question you should have lined up for me in the beginning. As a headliner, probably I did this big convention out in Sacramento, California, and when I get there, they made a flyer, right, and it's got my stupid face on it, and it says $35. And so this is people who paid $120 to get into this convention, and then $35 on top of that. I'm like, this is going to be an empty show, right? And I negotiated a flat rate for that show because I didn't know what I was walking into
Sure.
instead of a door deal. should have took the door deal. But but when I saw that sign, I was like, man, I'm glad I got that flat rate. You
Right.
know? And so I go up, and it's in this convention center, and it's 3 ballrooms that are put together, man, and there are 1,000 seats.
Mm-hmm.
There are 1,000 seats, and I'm like, this, maybe 100 people are coming to this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be spread out 10 seats apart from each other. Like when you're doing comedy, like when people are spread out, dude, it fucking sucks. Right? It's hard to get that momentum and that energy because it's infectious. It really is, which is why clubs like Go Bananas or like the Comedy Cellar in New York City, they got the low ceiling. It's tight. People are
Really
pushed
packed in,
together. Yeah, and that makes comedy easier. So I'm in this ballroom. There's 1,000 seats. It's a 30-foot ceiling. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is going to be miserable as fuck for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go into this green room. Dude, in the green room, they got a fruit tray, a vegetable tray, a cheese tray, like all this, like you would expect superstars kind of shit to get. And dude, I'm feeling guilty. You know what I mean? Like, man, these people went all out, and because I have legitimate credits, but they're not the kind of credits that draw people. You know what I mean? They'll draw people who are already fans of comedy, but they're not drawing, you know, regular suburbanites or whatever out.
Sure.
And you know, you put HBO or Cinemax or something on a poster, people are like, "Oh, that guy's famous. We'll go. We'll check it out." Mine are like Pandora and Spotify and different magazines I've been published in. But so I go in the green room, and my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she comes inside to the green room. And she's like, "Hey, I want you to look out that door," because she knows I'm freaking out, man. And there's a line of people like out from the door all the way outside and around the block, man. And so the guy that put the event together, he comes in, and I was like, "Hey, you guys did pre-sale in this. What were your numbers like?" And he's like, "Oh, I think we sold like 960." And I was like, "You shitting me?" And he was like, "Nah, man, why?" And I was like, "Nah, man, that room was big. I thought people were going to be spaced out." And he's like, "Nah, you're good." And I go in there, man, place is packed. It was fantastic. So that was probably my favorite as a headliner, just because of the emotional roller coaster it went on, from like feeling guilty, this is going to be terrible, to this is amazing and I don't deserve this experience. You know, my favorite experience working with somebody famous was probably Bert Kreischer. Working with him was a ton of fun, man. And are you guys familiar with Bert?
Yeah.
Yeah, vaguely.
But you're in here stealing his act with your shirt off. That's his whole thing. Now he used to only do that
for years.
He used to only do that for like 5 minutes.
And now he just does it.
Now he does it the whole time. But I listened to him. So I did radio with him. I did all. He was, come on, let's do this, let's do that. And
is he really as crazy as he puts himself out there to be?
Yeah, dude, without a doubt. He probably downplays it, to tell you the truth. He's super nice. He's a happy drunk. You know, he goes through periods where he doesn't drink at all, and I don't know where he is in that right now. But even when he's partying all the time, he was just cool as hell the whole time.
Right.
That's awesome. Oh, that part will be edited out.
It'd be all right.
You think so? We got really quiet watching
all right.
somebody stick their arm in the door.
That was
Close the
gangster
door.
shit, though, for real.
That
Can
was.
you-
kinda good.
He
Can
even
you
opened it.
Yeah,
I asked him
that's what
to.
she said.
That's so
Can
fucking.
you open
I
it
thought
for
she was
me?
like, put it in the fridge or some shit. Close the door.
When I open it on the mic.
Oh, close the door, Don.
I tried
Thank
to
you.
text him.
She's like, I'm just gonna continue not making sounds. Let's not. Don't look at me like that. I love you.
So I have a question. Are your pupils always that big, or have you consumed LSD today or something?
No, and I don't have an explanation that would make you think otherwise. I don't know why they do this. And it's like, it happens at work. Everybody is like, are you high? And I'm like, no.
She's really like seeing.
I guess.
Well, big pupils being real quiet. I'm like, man, this girl's on acid.
No, she's one of the most sober person I've ever met. I've never seen her drink. Nothing. Do you partake in anything ever?
I smoke a little bit here and there, but
Here and where? Like here? Because we
No.
don't smoke in
No.
this room. Okay, just make sure.
on my lonesome.
On your lonesome. Okay.
I don't drink though. I
Sure.
don't like drinking.
Yeah, I don't drink much either. I've drank 3 times this year.
You had a shot on air once.
No, that's right, I did. But it was like whiskey day or something. What was it?
It was whiskey day.
Yeah, I
Or
was just.
bourbon day. I don't fucking know. It was some alcohol.
This
day.
is my dedication to the audience. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. All right. So Bert Kreischer was your favorite. Tell us a little bit about the writing.
So I've been published in a couple of magazines. mainly like recovery publications. So I don't drink or take any drugs either, but I used to a lot. Been sober since November 8th of 2005, actually. But so I
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. Some recovery publications have published some of my stuff. I've been published in multiple newspapers. I've been published twice here in Cincinnati Enquirer. I just finished a book, and now I say finished. I finished the first
Rough draft.
second or third draft, really.
Yeah.
I guess. And then I sent it to an editor, and I got notes, and I'm doing the rewrites on the end of that now. And I just started a novel. But the stuff that I wrote for the Enquirer, the first one was just I was tired of watching all these different pieces of like the recovery world like fight with each other, like doctors and Suboxone clinics and fucking Northern Kentucky hates heroin and all those different groups like trying to be the standout. And it looked to me at the time like each of those groups just wanted the most attention,
Right.
And I was frustrated by all the walks we were having at the time. Like, there was some kind of walk for awareness for drug addiction, like, every fucking week for, like, a year. And it's like, look, man, no junkie's ever been lying in an alleyway and saw a bunch of people wearing the same T-shirt and thought, you know what, I got to get my shit together.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's never happened. It makes people feel better. It makes people feel like they're doing something. And I was just frustrated by it all. And so I wrote actually, I didn't even write an article. I wrote this fucking rant on Facebook. And this lady from the Enquirer sent me a message like, hey, we need you to clean the language up out of this, but we would like to publish this. And, so I trimmed it down from like 1,200 words to like 750 words, which is difficult. Especially when you're dealing with something that's that serious, because I can only control what I say. I can't control what you hear. You know what I mean? So trying to be as clear as I can in as few words as possible, which is something that writers try to do anyway.
Sure.
But, when I have a word limit, 750 words is not a lot of words when you're writing, especially something serious. And the Enquirer got a ton of emails like, hey, can you connect me to this guy? I need to talk to this guy. I got my kid this, or my cousin that, or my husband or wife, or whatever it is. Like, and so the editor at the time, she shoots me an email and she's like, look, we got so many people reaching out to try to talk to you. Can you just write one that's basically your story? And I was like, not in 750 words, I can't. And,
Right.
She was like, no, we'll give you like 1,700. And so I wrote it. And what was wild about that is, I don't know, a month later, I get a letter at my house, like an actual handwritten letter in a black envelope.
Those exist still, huh?
Yeah, people still do it, man. And now here's the thing about that. I didn't give my address out. Right? And Jay is not even my first name. Like, you can't find my address by Jay Armstrong. My first name is Marvin. And
Now the world knows.
yeah, it's fine. I've said it on 700 WLW. Everybody knows I'm a Marvin. I'm the third, actually. But so I read it, and it's a handwritten card saying, hey, I'd really like to talk to you. This is my phone number. And I'm freaked out, though, because like the person figured out who I was and where I lived when none of that information was out there.
Was it at least stamped?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, like, it wasn't like somebody dropped it off to your house, because that somehow makes it much worse.
Yeah,
It does.
they spent the $3 on Spokio to find out who I was, so they were okay with spending the 30 cents, or 44 cents, however
Whatever stamp
is now. But so I'm freaked out by it, so I don't reply to it, right? I don't call the person, like, I'm not trying to be murdered, and I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks go by and I get another black envelope. That's another thing that freaked me out. It's like, it's a black envelope, man, and it was about how they were disappointed that I hadn't reached out to them, and I'm like, fuck, man, like, this is it. Like, now I have to, or I'm going to be, like, before it was like, if I dig deeper into this situation, I might get murdered. Now it's like, if I don't dig out of this situation, I'm going to get murdered. So I called the guy, and we talked for a while, and his daughter is a drug addict. And I told him, I was like, I can give you all the resources, that I had. I said, but typically men work with men, women work with women. That's kind of that's the school that I was brought up in. There's a lot of people that don't believe that, and they're all fucking dying, but it's whatever. So he's like, look, man, I just want to take you to lunch so I can just pick your brain. I just want to talk. And I was like, well, come and get me. You know where I live, And he did. And he bought me lunch, and we had a really good talk, man. And I'm actually friends with his daughter and her boyfriend now. Cool. Which it was a cool situation. They actually came to that show at Bogart's. This is where I actually first met them in person. Not the dad. The dad, I haven't talked to him since. I guess he's got somebody else to stalk now. But that's terrifying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
a black envelope is fucking ominous as shit.
yes, it is. Yeah, it was. So yeah, those two, and then I've had some photos published by some news organizations. I've had a bunch of photos used in like advertising and stuff in like the vape world. I do a lot of product photography, but I took some photos of the last rally that we did in DC for vaping rights, and a bunch of DC area newspapers and news stations used my photos, which was kind of cool because I wasn't even trying to do that. You know, I was trying to document the event for us, and that was a wild time because it was September of last year. DC was basically on fire. We were right in the midst of, you know, coronavirus pandemic. Everything in DC is locked down, and still we showed up. Like, we're not going to outlaw our shit. It's not going to happen.
Right.
Now, I saw on your Instagram, speaking of the photography, that you're into roses now.
I wouldn't say that I'm into them. I was pretty happy with the images that I pulled, though.
Well, this guy right here loves him some roses.
Yeah. I'm trying to get like a full on rose garden in the front, but it's I'm not much of a gardener.
Well, it shocked me when you were like, "Oh, I love roses," and the way you passionately spoke about roses. But then I saw your rose. I was like, "Hey, that's pretty cool." Like, these dudes love roses. I don't know.
Hey, flowers are dope, man.
They are dope.
A lot of flowers are pretty dope, man. And if you go back farther on my Instagram, I have more flowers.
Yeah.
I like doing macro shots of flowers, like super up close macro shots of flowers.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done any like stacked macro shots of flowers because of the wind.
Right.
I haven't taken a flower inside to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But with a lot of the vape stuff I have.
All right. So my next thing here is I watched and listened to some of your stuff, and I would I want you to tell Shorty, Ava, and the audience about two things. One, your first time that you were paid to travel.
Okay.
And two, the wind farm.
That's the one. You know what? I just realized that the one I expected you to, I have it unlisted. You have to have the direct link to it for the one that I expected you to bring up. But the first time that I ever got flown, man, I hate flying. First, let's be real clear about this. I fucking am terrified of flying.
Really?
I hate it.
I love flying.
I think it's the sense of powerlessness, right? So, like, when I first started telling people, like, admitting to people that I was afraid of flying, you know, the answer is always, the reply that I would get is, well, you know, your chances of your flight being hijacked are super low. And it's like, I'm not worried about that, right? Like, if the flight gets hijacked, we can try, like, the people in Pennsylvania to fight back. You know what I mean? We can try. We have some measure of power in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
If the engines go out, and what am I going to try to get everybody to flap their arms at the same time? You know what I mean? Like, you're powerless at that situation, and I don't like that. And that's part of the... I think that comes from being a drug addict in recovery.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm in touch with my powerlessness, and I don't like being powerless, so I typically don't put myself into situations where I can be that. And but no, the TSA sucks. And here's the other thing: like, I'm a 4-time convicted felon, so dealing with the feds is not usually a very fun thing for me.
Right.
So the guy's like, Mr. Armstrong, why are you flying to Oregon? And in my head, I'm like, that's none of your fucking business, dude. Like I'm an American. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Like, I'm not leaving the country. I'm not on paper. Kiss my ass. But you can't talk to feds like that. You know what I mean? I mean, like, you can, but you don't get to fly if you do. But so what I say now every single time is that I met a 90-year-old man on the internet that liked to fuck me up the ass before he dies. And I'm going to let him because I'm a giving person. It's like my own personal Make-A-Wish Foundation. And that's a weird lie to tell a stranger, but they stop asking questions.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, that's fucking... I'm going to try that if I ever fly.
Oh, for sure, say it.
I got my whole family in trouble when I was like 16. My mom used to work for the airlines, and they found something in my bag that relatively looked like a weapon. I don't know what the hell it was. But like, sir, are you carrying anything illegal? I was like, just 50 pounds of heroin. And they're like, what? And I'm just like, whoops. I was 16. I did not realize the complications that I put my family through.
Oh, no.
Me and my entire family get pulled off. My mom works for the airlines. That's bad. Because, like, her bosses find out about this shit. So They pull us all aside. They're going through fucking everything. They're like, where is it? I'm like, where's what? Like, the heroin. I'm like, what heroin? They're like, what? They're like, they're throwing all of our shit out. They pull our fucking luggage. We missed our fucking flight. My mom and dad were fucking pissed. I was like, well, I've learned a valuable lesson. Don't joke about drugs.
So as somebody that's never flown, like, I mean, are TSA agents this uptight? Like, they won't
Some
take a
of them
joke?
are, man. Well, you're not. There's signs now that says security's not a laughing matter. Please don't joke in this area.
Yeah.
Wow,
They're
I'd be
fucking
fucked.
legit. Last time I went on a plane, dude, like, I made one fucking joke about, like, having a weapon on me. Like, a fucking... Oh, no. I had a small metal bar that goes to my fucking tripod and shit. And, like, the whole thing disconnects or whatever because it's, like, fucking 3 foot long. But whatever, like, the one section of it is all metal. And they're like, do you have any weapons in your bags? I'm like, just a small sword. And, like, the fucking whoop, pulled me aside. I'm like, God damn it. I was like, it was just a joke. My bad. I'm sorry. And, like, I didn't see the fucking sign because I've been to the Cincinnati airport. So many goddamn times. Like, I've been flying since I was 7 years old, almost once a month up until I was 18. And just
take it for granted, yeah.
Yeah, I just fucking, horse vision here. Like, just I'm looking at one thing, just trying to get through it.
I've never called it
sign.
horse vision.
Well, fucking horse
horses
blinders.
own- yeah.
Horse blinders, whatever the fuck that is, But yeah, I was like, fuck, oops. So now I don't do it. And
Yeah, they don't think that shit is funny at all.
I've
man.
flown like 4 times since, and I'm just like, I'm just traveling for business. And that's it.
Right. It's dude, I almost missed a flight because I had a Ziploc bag full of peanut butter filled pretzels. Right? So they tell you if you have any snacks, you're supposed to pull them out of your bag. Right? And I forgot that they were in there. Dude, I got up at 5 in the morning. I don't get up at 5 in the morning. And so I didn't take them out of the bag. Right? And they're like, what's in your bag? And I was like, I don't know, clothes, man. They were like, no, there's a Ziploc bag. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm really apologetic.
Right.
It's pretzels. They're like, what's in them? And I was like, what do you mean what's in them? She's like, what's in the bag? I was like, it's pretzels, man. She's like, what's in the pretzels? And I was like, peanut butter? And she was like, are you sure? I fucking hope so, man. Like, I hope it's not cauliflower in the motherfuckers. Like, just frustrated, dude. Man, I saw this Arab dude, which I don't know what his country of origin was, but he didn't speak English very well, and he had an open container of protein powder.
Oh,
and
God.
I saw him pull him aside. I'm like, man, this dude's day is fucked.
Right.
Like, I felt so bad for that dude. And man, dealing with the feds sucks, dude. It's not even so much the flying. The flying sucks because, man, over Iowa, dude, we dropped 300 feet in a split second, straight down. And when you think about a plane dropping, like, you think you would feel like the nose go down. That's not how it works when you hit, like, real turbulence. Like, it just flat, like, drops.
Ever been on a plane, Ty?
No, and this is making me not want to get on a plane.
Oh, dude, it's terrifying. So I'm actually going to perform.
We have 2 different perspectives for this room.
I'm going to perform at this recovery event, right? It's in Lincoln, Nebraska, and they actually routed us from Cincinnati down to St. Louis because there were a bunch of tornadoes over the Plain States. And we weren't stopping in St. Louis. We were just swinging down. And then they realized we didn't have enough fuel to go as far as we wanted. My initial thought is, these motherfuckers don't know how much fuel we have? Like, how terrifying is that? Like, you should know how much fuel we have, right? Are we just going to land where we fucking run out? You know what I mean? Like, I'm freaking out already. And so we had to cut back up closer to the storms than they had initially wanted to. Like, St. Louis is not between Lincoln, Nebraska, and Cincinnati at all. You know what I mean? It's hours out of the way. And so we end up closer to the storms, dude. We drop, and the 2 people sitting next to me are both drinking cocktails, and they go flying up in the air, fucking land all over me. So I'm at this event for people who don't drink or take drugs. Somebody from the event is picking me up from the airport, and I am covered in booze.
Oh,
Right?
man.
So as soon as I walked in, I was like, I swear to God, I haven't been drinking. She was like, what? And I explained it to her, and she's like, that sounds terrifying. I was like, it was. That's exactly the word that I used to describe it. There was this 80-year-old woman sitting next to me, and as soon as we kind of leveled out a little bit, I mean, when I say we dropped 300 feet, I mean, it was 300 feet in an instant, in a split second. Laptop goes flying up in the air. Everybody's got a cell phone out, straight up into the air, snacks and chips and drinks, all of it immediately is 3 foot over your head. And so I asked the older lady, I mean, she was old. And I was like, are you okay, ma'am? And she goes, I'm fine. So after we land, I looked over and I was like, when I asked you if you were fine, I was not fine. Like I was having a panic attack. And I mean, there's nothing you can do. What can you do? You can't get off the plane. You know what I mean? Like, let me out. This is too much. You can't do that.
We'd have probably dropped 350 feet just by the amount of shit that would have come out of my ass.
Oh my God, dude.
Dude, I'd have shit myself so hard that plane would have dropped even further because that shit would have just magically fucking...
I've been on flights where they've lost power for like 5 seconds.
No.
And I mean, it's something that, like, I don't know, man. My family has a very morbid outlook on life. You know this from talking to me. But, like, death is going to come. I don't care how.
It is.
And I'm not, like, the powerlessness thing of it, like, I feel that just about any time I'm not driving a vehicle.
Right.
Like, if I'm not the driver,
oh, I'm a terrible passenger, dude. I have to stare at my phone the whole time.
Yeah. See, I'm comfortable with it enough to be, like, looking around and shit and not give a fuck. And,
Yeah, your driving makes me uncomfortable, though.
Why?
I don't know. You're a little heavy-footed. Yeah, it makes my butthole pucker the entire time.
You're all right.
See, I'm a good driver. I drive slow. It was explained to me as a young man that the speed limit is as fast as you're allowed to go, not as slow as you're allowed to go. And I live by that because I can't afford the speeding tickets.
Right. See, now I was the opposite when I was younger. Like, I used to just fucking drive like this motherfucker. Like, no regard. That's not a speed limit. It's a speed suggestion. And then my first child was born. I was like, you know what? I think it's time to obey the laws of the road. And ever since my first kid was born, I drive like a grandpa.
You know what's weird? I developed... Let me ask you this. Have you developed any phobias?
Oh, my God, yes.
I used to not be afraid of heights at all. Now I freak out about heights. Which is part of my flying situation.
Right.
I fucking hate... Fucking hate heights, dude. I get vertigo stepping out of the shower. It's like, oh, my God.
But did you have that before you had a kid?
Yes, but not nearly as bad.
Well, see, that's the question I asked is, have you developed any phobias since you had kids?
But yeah, like,
Come on, stupid.
you mentioned heights. I was going with the heights thing. But yeah, I develop new fears every day. The older I get, I don't even know if it's the kids.
Well, you want to be there. You don't want them to be lost.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's your job to provide, so... at least that's my hypothesis.
No, that's exactly how I think about it. Beforehand, it's like, if I go, I go. Yeah, it'll suck. But now it's, if I go, like, what are my kids going to do?
Oh, I was ready to go. Like,
so I wasn't
suicidal
ready to
ideation is something I've dealt with my entire life.
Sure.
And I think that's part of why dying in a powerless way bothers me, because I always assumed that
It'd be
I would
by your
have
own control.
Yeah, that I would have complete control.
Right.
And,
No, I understand that completely.
I quit going to therapy after that situation in Iowa where the plane dropped, when I really thought I was going to die, because I freaked out. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Like, I really don't. Holy shit. Like, I legit don't want to die. And,
It takes such a weird turn when you're in a situation like that. Because I've been in similar situations where, like, I've looked at death right in the fucking face and I'm like, oh shit, this is what's going on. And for me, it was like one of my friends took their own life, and I was instantly switched on watching their family suffer,
Right.
watching myself suffer, because I love them more than anything. Like, it was something that I really struggled with. And, like, now, like, I don't, it's not necessarily that I want to die. It's just, like, I know I don't want anyone to feel how I did when
Right.
I was left alone.
Right, yeah, dude,
And,
totally.
like, it's a powerlessness situation, sitting there wondering if your friend is going to make it, you know what I mean? And, like, you just got to deal with all that. Like, it's a serious fucking thing. And, like, when you say you lost, like, that's when you realize you wanted to live, dude. Like, that's a cool story. Like, even if you don't like flying, you have flying.
Oh, I
to
still
thank
don't like
for
it, yeah.
Yeah, you have flying to thank for that.
Still don't like
you know what I'm saying?
I have to fly in September to Idaho.
Idaho sucks. I fucking hate that state.
You know what, man? I looked up some pictures of Idaho, and it's actually beautiful.
There's really pretty places in every state, but there's a lot of states.
We've
outside
been to New Jersey.
Except Mississippi.
Hey, I have family in New Jersey, and I fucking love that place.
I'm not a fan of their
That's
governor
made-
or the state.
The
or
what?
the governor, the state, the
I don't know
legislature.
I don't know shit about that.
I have some friends that live in Jersey, man, and I've been trying to talk them into moving to Kentucky or Florida. I'm getting the fuck out of Kentucky as soon as I can. I'm going to Florida. That's all there is to it.
Florida.
Tired of being cold.
See, I've lived in Florida. It's just like after you're there for a month, it kind of wears off. It's like
Man,
I like Kentucky, man. We have the greatest. I'm not the greatest, but we have a good mix of seasons. Even though we can experience all four in a
see,
week.
that winter, I don't like it. I don't like it. And here's the other thing: when coronavirus hit, my job became illegal immediately, like
Yeah.
overnight. like my job is illegal. You know what I mean? Not just I need to get a better one. Like the industry that I committed a decade of my life to, instantly illegal by the sign of a pen. And they didn't do that in Florida.
Right.
So I'm fucking going to Florida or Texas. Texas is cool too.
Yeah.
Texas is not kind to pedestrians. I don't know if you've ever been to Texas, but like,
No. I've not been many places.
you should go some places, man. Places are pretty cool.
I've been to Chicago,
Chicago is awesome.
Indianapolis.
I love Chicago. Indianapolis.
Did you eat at Kuma's Corner when you were in Chicago?
I did not.
Have you ever eaten there?
I'm not sure.
Kuma's Corner is a black metal themed burger joint.
Yes, I have been there.
There's one in Indianapolis now too.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Dope. I'm gonna have to hit that.
It's only 2 hours.
I go up there every year for Comic-Con, so we usually stop and get something. Like, I'm usually on like where the fuck to eat, like website.
Kuma's, man, yeah,
And
Kuma's
like
is a shit.
it always tells me some weird off the wall like underground fucking beaten bar and shit.
I mean, that's kind of how Kuma's is. Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
look like what it is, but they have an executive chef.
Right.
You know what I mean? For 2 people to eat and have sodas, dude, it's fucking $50.
Yeah.
But it's worth it, dude.
yeah.
The Slayer burger is fucking where it's at.
We went there. We went to Chicago back in like 2013 to go see Within Temptation in Amon Amarth. And me and my ex or whatever, and I was like, hey, I heard of this fucking joint. We need to go. She goes, what do you mean? It's a fucking metal burger joint.
Yeah, man.
And she was like, well, I mean, I like burgers. And I was like, dope, we're going. And we fucking ate there, dude. Fuck. It's good ass fucking food, but you're right, it is pricey.
It's pricey, yeah. And,
I mean, everything in Chicago is pricey, I feel like.
but even in Indy, the one in Indy is pricey also.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
But, yeah, Chicago is a cool place, man. I got to perform at the Laugh Factory in Chicago, which is like comedy dream bucket list. You know what I mean? And it was a cool weekend. But then we didn't drive anywhere. My buddy Luis lives up there, and or he did at the time. He's back in Cincinnati now. There was a parking spot like right in front of his building that was like free parking. Dude, I parked and didn't fucking move my car until we left the city. Like, fuck this, I'm not doing this again.
Well, luckily the city's so like well brought together. You can pretty much walk everywhere. Like,
Yeah, and the subway, or not, well, I guess it's the L train up
Yeah.
there. But yeah, Chicago is a cool place, man. Where else have you been that is cool?
I mean, I've been to Atlanta. I wouldn't say it's cool.
Atlanta's not cool.
It's
Atlanta
not.
sucks.
I've been all over Florida, really. I lived in Florida for a little bit, like in between Clearwater and Treasure Island. My biological father, he had a house right on the beach, so we would walk out the back door and you're standing in the sand.
Right.
So I lived down there for a while, and it did not last because, like I said, I was there for a few months, and after the first month, I was done between, like, attics, like, just everywhere.
But I mean, that's here too, man.
Yeah, but I don't know, like, on the strip, like, around John's Pass, it was just really bad. And I didn't want to deal with that. And
Here it's just inside. I would bet that in a tenth of the houses in this neighborhood right now, there's opiate narcotics.
Oh, yeah.
Illegal
Oh,
opiate
100%.
narcotics.
I know 4.
At least
I know 4 off the top of my like. I've lived in this neighborhood almost my entire life. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I know this area pretty well. You know what I mean? I used to party out here.
Fuck, you might really do. You might know my brothers.
I might. How old are they?
One is 40. Oh God, one's 44. The other one is 39.
Yeah, there's a good chance of it.
Did you go to Lloyd High School? No.
No, I went to Simon Kitten and then Scott, and I graduated from Newport.
Okay. You may know my brothers. I don't know. We'll discuss that off the air.
So, now that we know you hate to fly, now I know there's a good story about when you were driving once.
Yeah, I like driving. I like driving because I can take my wife with me everywhere I go, right? I don't have to pay for... I'm not successful enough to where I can demand the agency book her tickets too, right?
Right.
So, flying's cheap now, though. Fuck, I might start flying more. But when I went to Chicago, actually, we drove through Indiana, and it is fucking boring as shit.
It
right?
really is.
Indiana's the worst.
It's all corn, no teeth, windmills. That's it. We get into the wind farm, right? And she had never been in one, and she looks over at me. I swear to God, she says, "I can't believe these windmills work this well." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" She's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Do you feel the electricity? What do you mean they're working well?" And she's like, "Well, it's windy." Yeah, no shit. That's how. Fuck. Do you know how windmills work? And she was like, "Yeah, I know how they work. I just didn't think it would be this noticeable." And that's when I was like, "Fuck." She thinks that the windmills are producing the wind. So at the time, I'm actually texting my buddy Adrian Cosby, who's a comic up in Columbus, I'm like, hey man, I got a brand new opener. And he's like, what? I'm like, we're driving through these windmills right now, and she doesn't know that's what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
And yeah, that's not how it works, but
That's fucking awesome.
it puts into my mind like these two pothead climate scientists, like, you know what, Dan? This global warming shit's out of control. Let's just install some fans. Or like your friend comes over, like, man, I see your new solar panels. It's hot as fuck here. Because that's not how that works either.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah, fuck.
Does she know yet how windmills actually work yet?
Yeah. No, we had the conversation right then and there.
Well, of course, yeah.
You know, her explanation was, I know that the wind powers them, but I thought maybe it contributed more to the wind on the other side. And I was like, no. She's like, well, I feel like that's not as bad as the way you're making it out. I'm like, it's not any less bad.
No, it's not. It's as bad as you think.
Yeah, it's precisely as bad as I'm making it out to be.
Well, I only got one more thing for you. And that is, we talked a little bit before the show started about stage fright. Because that's my biggest thing.
You said you wanted to do stand-up, but the stage fright stops you from doing it.
Yeah.
And, it's just something you just got to do it. You know what I mean? And it's like anything in life. Whether it's getting in a mosh pit for the first time or fucking dropping in on a skateboard ramp for the first time. Or it's going to be scary the first time. Yeah. You know? And it's okay that it's scary. But, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You know what I mean? They don't laugh. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
My motherfuckers ain't up there doing it.
I might get on a plane that drops more than 300 feet if they don't laugh.
You know what? Here's the thing, though. You don't have control over that.
Right.
You know, but...
Like, make sure you don't put enough gas in this plane on the way back.
Dude, I had another situation with gas in a plane, too, which I'll get to, I guess. But, I don't drink. I don't take drugs, right? So that stage fright, like, there was no mitigating chemical for that for me. Like, I experienced it fully, and I got over it quicker than a lot of guys do. So, like... Or a lot of people do. So, like, when you go up on stage and you're nervous, but you take Xanax or you smoke weed or you drink alcohol, like, you're not experiencing that fright. You're mitigating that fear and anxiety. And so the next time when you go up, you haven't dealt with it from the first time. Mm-hmm. So it's still there for you. And I think it helped me get over it immensely. Like, I've never had a buzz on stage in any way, shape, or form. I've only been doing stand-up for 10 years, but I've been sober for 15.
Right.
And, you know, that's my advice to all new comics when they ask me, you know, don't drink before you get on. If you want to fucking party down afterwards, fucking go for it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't judge people that drink. Fuck, drink as much as you got to drink my share now, because there's fucking small villages going bankrupt because their entire ecosystem is gone because I don't drink anymore. Or there's probably a small village in Afghanistan that is bankrupt now because I quit buying heroin, you know? But yeah, that's my thing every time. Don't drink before you go up. You know, if you want to have a beer with you on stage as a prop, that's fine. Drink that beer on stage, but don't catch a buzz before you go up.
Right.
The other thing about that is you can remember what works and what doesn't work better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that makes great sense.
And I also, early on, I recorded every set that I did. And I would listen to it obsessively afterwards. Like, they laughed here, they didn't laugh there. And then I started writing out all my jokes long form after I would listen to them. And then I would take, if there was a 2-syllable word that I could replace with a 1-syllable word, I would do that. Because you get to the funny part faster. And maybe you're only saving 30 seconds out of, you know, a 5-minute bit. But that's 30 more seconds where people could be laughing.
Right.
And, you know, it's an art form, but there's also some science to it. Mm-hmm. You know, depending on how deep into analyzation you go. There's people you can pay to do a laughs per minute assessment, which I'm not paying anybody for that. I can count. But yeah, definitely. I think being sober helps me a lot in that, and it's actually gotten me gigs, not just in like the recovery community, but one of the bigger club chains that I work for has booked me with people simply to try to keep them out of trouble because they've been known to get in trouble. For drinking and using drugs.
And that in itself is pretty impressive.
I mean, I'd rather just get the gig based on
how funny
my
you are,
qualities. Yeah,
I mean, that is one of your qualities.
This guy's
though.
a good babysitter.
Right, and I've been that guy. There's one dude that every time he comes to town, they call me.
Oh wow!
And I've pulled him out of crack houses, and
Jesus,
it's been an interesting.
Well, I mean, you're helping this dude stay alive, and you're helping his
Oh
career.
yeah, I'm doing the Lord's work. There's no doubt about
Lord's work, God's plan.
There you go.
Well, I got nothing else for you, Shorty. You got anything you want to add?
No, my only thing is like every time I tell somebody about flying or whatever, I'm like, it's a bus but louder and don't freak out. That's my only 2 cents, Ty. Because you said you've never flown.
Nope, never flown.
Yeah, it's a bus but louder.
it. It's harder to fly the first time as an adult.
I believe it.
If you do it as a kid like he did, it's easier because you're used to it. It's
Right.
like guns. Like people who are around guns their whole lives, guns don't bother them. People that haven't been and they're an adult and they see somebody with a gun, they freak out about it. Man, I had at the Funny Bone in Newport when it was still open, a friend of mine who was a very liberal Democrat dude.
Is
but
it not open at all anymore?
in Newport? It's been closed for like 4 years.
Yeah, it's been
The closest one now is Liberty Township, which is like 45 minutes to an hour from here. But this dude, he's a very liberal, like lefty kind of dude, but he likes guns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, he took his gun with him to a show because he had concealed carry, and he drops it in the fucking bathroom at the Funny Bone. And somebody who was not comfortable with guns was also in the bathroom and fucking lost their minds over it, called the cops and shit. But people who are used to being around guns, they don't freak out. You know what I mean? That's a gun. That's a tool. That's a thing. You know, same thing with flying. When you're real young, like, it's fine. You're used to it. But when there's this build-up, and you're, how old are you?
I'm 37.
37 years old, never been in a plane before?
No.
Yeah, you're going to have a fucking anxiety attack.
Yeah.
I mean,
no.
my mom used to send me on planes with people who've never flown before. Like, I had a friend of mine win a speech competition, so she got to go to Washington, D.C. And, like, my mom and her mom, like, were talking about it. And then my friend Rachel comes walking up, like, running up to me, grabs me by the arm. She goes, Shorty, we're going to Washington, D.C. And I've been to Washington, D.C. like 4 times. I'm like, the fuck I am. I hate that place.
Right?
And she was like, no, but your mom said we're doing this. And I'm like, no. So I go ask my mom about it. She's like, yeah, Rachel's never been on a plane. She's like 16 at the time.
Right.
And she's like, you're going to go to Washington, D.C. Single-handedly the worst trip I've ever been on. And I was there for I was supposed to be there for 3 hours. I was there for almost 24. Like, I am 16 years old. I fly to Washington, D.C. My flight gets canceled because of weather in Cincinnati. Cool. So I call my mom. I don't have a cell phone either.
Right.
I'm using a fucking payphone. I get sent there with $20. I call my mom, ask her what to do. She goes, hold on, we'll figure it out. Okay, cool. So I wait. The next flight comes around, also gets canceled. Fuck. So I call my mom. Hey, what do I do? She goes, you need to go to this other airport. I'm like, how the fuck do I go to this other airport?
From Reagan to Dulles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was like, you need to hop on the bus and then hop on the subway, and the subway will take you the rest of the way to the airport. I said, okay. Mom, I've never ridden public transportation. I've walked everywhere. She goes, well, good luck. Dope. So I'm walking up to strangers like, hey, how do I do this? And like just trying to figure out my way. I get to the fucking airport. That flight had everybody whose flight got canceled going on it. I'm flying fucking standby. So I spent all my money calling my mom, paying for a fucking bus and train ticket, and I have like $3 to my name. And you can't buy airport food for $3.
Nah, man.
It's not possible. The waters are $3.
You gotta wait till you get on and get them Bischoff cookies.
Exactly right.
Oh, Bischoff cookies are so good, though.
I know, dude. They're delicious. So I'm fucking sleeping in underneath the chairs in this fucking airport. My dad shows up the next morning at like 7:30 and kicks me awake. Like, you hungry? I'm like, fuck yes, feed me. This is terrible. Single-handedly worst trip I've ever been on.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely horrid.
See, I actually like D.C. I like the history. I'm not a fan of our government, but I like knowing how we got to where we are. Philly is a cool city.
Oh, I love Philadelphia.
For history stuff. Boston is a cool city for history stuff. Cincinnati is actually a pretty cool city for history stuff.
The older I get, the more I realize that. Like, I keep finding random shit in Cincinnati. I'm like, man, this is fucking dope.
Albany, New York is another place. Like, it sucks. Albany sucks. Like, the only redeeming quality it has is the history. It's a pretty cool place. But other than that, man, the food is terrible. The fucking people suck. Andrew Cuomo's the governor. He's a piece of shit.
Nah, I've never been to Albany, but I went through Syracuse once, and I had to stay the night there. And that was god-awful. It was like staying in a fucking ghost town.
You think so, man? Syracuse is a lot like Florence.
You think?
Yeah, dude.
Well,
they got a big mall. They got a 5-story mall, man. How's it a fucking ghost town?
I I'm used to Florence, I guess, but going through New York, it was my first time going through. I was headed to Boston.
How the fuck did you end up in Syracuse from here to Boston?
Driving. I mean, we didn't fly, so we drove, but it's there. Like, that's where we ended up.
Did you have a Delta person fucking route that shit?
I guess. I don't know.
Syracuse is right here.
Okay.
Boston is right meow.
Well, somehow we ended
Cincinnati
in
is right meow.
somehow we ended in Syracuse, New York.
You guys are bad.
Hold on, how are you? Look, your mapping skills are bad. But anyways, we ended up in Syracuse, and
He's pulling a fucking map out. He's got an analog map.
This ain't gonna work.
But so we ended up there,
talking.
dude. It really was like a ghost town. Like, New York in itself was disappointing because I had never been. I didn't realize that the whole state smelled like sewage.
It's all
And
mountains, man.
Yeah.
People don't realize that about New York. They think it's like New York City, like the whole state is like that. And it's
Right.
not, man. It's mountains and shit.
Yeah, and it stinks. It smells so bad.
My buddy that lives down in Pensacola now, he's from Syracuse. And that was the first thing that I said to him, like, hey, man, like, it sucks here. Like, not in Syracuse, but, like, so I did a week at the Syracuse Funny Bone with Nick Griffin, and then I didn't know when I'd have a chance to go back to New York City. You know what I mean? Being that close, it's only a few hours away. So I was like, well, I'm going to fucking drive to New York City. And but yeah, it's all mountains, man. It's all mountains. And then when I drove to Albany, all mountains. And people think it's not like that. Like, it's Broadway. Like, the whole state is Broadway. And it's not, dude. A lot of it is, like, backwood. If you're from Kentucky, quit letting people look down on you because you're from Kentucky.
Right.
Every fucking state has the same backwoods, fucking inbred, hilljack motherfuckers that we have.
Fuck yeah, they do. God damn.
Mississippi.
Fuck Mississippi.
Well, everybody thinks the South. You know what I mean? Obviously, the South has that shit because that's the stereotype. But New York, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, dude. Pennsylvania sucks outside of Philadelphia. Like,
What about
Pittsburgh is a big city, but fuck Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not a Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh
fan,
sucks. Pittsburgh
but I've
sucks.
heard that the city itself is fun.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is Covington with taller buildings and more beer.
Oh, okay.
Nailed it.
Let's see, I didn't know.
More domestic violence. Fuck Pittsburgh to the fullest, and their goddamn football team.
Yes, and their football team.
Don't
they
care.
can fucking
And their
suck a
fans.
dick. Yep, they're fans too. Unless you're listening, then just quit being fans of the
Dude,
Steelers.
I saw a car yesterday with a fucking Duke license plate and a fucking Pittsburgh sticker. Like, you contrarian fucking cocksucker. Like, you just picked the two teams that everyone in this area hates. Go fuck yourself.
Go
Sounds
fuck
like what I
yourself.
want to do.
What? Go fuck yourself?
Well, that too.
Ain't
nobody
nobody
else-
else
Your house,
fucking
man.
you.
You're welcome to do whatever you want.
Right. It's my house. I live here. I pay the fucking bills. No, but like me and my buddies went to a sporting event, and I actually cut a jersey in half of both teams and sewed it together. Cause I don't fucking, dude. Sports fucking to me are boring as shit.
See, I like football. I like hockey too.
The hockey's all right to watch.
I like going to hockey games.
Yeah.
I cannot watch it on TV, but being there is a completely different animal.
But yeah, I would take two jerseys, like just as cheap as I could find them, and just rip them in half and sew them together. That way I could root for both teams because I have no idea what the fuck's going on 99% of the time. Yeah, go whoever wins. Like, shut up, asshole.
I'm just here for the beer.
So obviously you're a Bengals fan then, right?
I am a Bengals fan.
What do you think? What do you think is going to happen this year? We don't do sports much here, but
Man,
how do you think this
I am
year's gonna
trying
go?
my best not to get overly excited.
No?
I wanted to see Sewell come in because I thought offensive line was the most important thing going. But I'm cool with Chase. I think we filled out the rest of that O-line and our D-line with some lower draft picks and some off-season trades with free agents. I'm excited, man. I mean, it could be good. I mean, we'll see.
Addition by subtraction, we got rid of Bobby Hart. That's the biggest
Oh,
thing.
my God. Dude, when they re-signed him, I lost my fucking mind. Dude, when they re-signed Marvin Lewis as coach that last time, dude, I swear to God, I fucking was punching the roof of my Jeep just screaming like a fucking psychopath. And that was the same year that everybody was freaking out about players kneeling. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? During the anthem, dude. And that, I was telling a joke on stage for a while, and I tweeted this on Twitter. Obviously on Twitter. I didn't tweet it on fucking Instagram. Anyway, but I was just so upset. I was like, you could beat a bald eagle to death on the 50-yard line during the national anthem with a copy of the Communist Manifesto, and I wouldn't be as mad as I am now that Marvin Lewis is re-signed. Fuck him. Fuck the Bengals. Oh, I was so mad. Dude, like, irrationally upset. Like, and I understood right then when it was happening that it was irrational that I was that upset. Yet I was that upset anyway.
Hey, Dude, the last few years with Marvin Lewis were bad. They were so bad. But see, I don't think Zach Taylor's been much better.
See, here's the thing about Taylor. This will be really the year to see, because this is the year that he had some control. So we'll see, And if he sucks, we kill Mike Brown, I guess.
I'm down. I'll sign a petition.
He's the
right
one.
now.
He's the one that hired him. You know what I mean?
I'll sign a petition right now to have Mike Brown strung and quartered.
So if you ever saw the Fire Marvin Lewis at Fuck Marvin Lewis Twitter account, that's me.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go look at that. But see, I didn't hate him that badly. I mean, I know that the last few years were bad, but I mean, when we were growing up, I mean, we were used to being the worst team, a laughing stock.
Right.
Like, I mean, it was very well documented that you come play the Bengals, half their players are going to be drunk anyways.
Right. Well, I mean, a lot of players back then were intoxicated during games, not just the Bengals. Like the Dallas Cowboys were famously cocaine addicts through that LT era.
Yeah, but a little booger sugar helped them football players out.
In short bursts, man. But when it wears off fast.
Yeah. I guess you got to have enough for a full game.
Yeah. He is trying to figure out how in the fuck you made it to Syracuse on your way from Northern Kentucky to Boston.
I see that. He's trying really hard.
I gotta figure out how to re-rank. There we go.
But, look, I have nothing else for you. Do you want to plug whatever you got going on one last time?
Just follow me on Facebook, or just look up J. Armstrong Comedy on Facebook. I have gigs listed there. I should have one within the next month here locally.
At Beer Kiss?
At Beer Kiss, yeah, hopefully. We just got to get it ironed out on a date.
You know what door tickets are going to be for that?
They're 10 to 25 depending on where you want to sit. What's cool about Beer Kiss is they went all out and got hooked up with Eventbrite, and you can buy tickets based on where you want to sit.
Okay.
You can actually, even inside of the cheaper tickets or the more expensive tickets, you can pick the exact seat that you want to sit in.
Well, keep us informed, because I'd love to come see a show. I haven't been to a comedy show. This is how long it's been. The last comedy show I went to, I believe, was maybe Damon Wayans at Funny Bone.
Damon is the best stand-up of that family, for sure. He's got it all. So I've got to hang out with all those dudes. Keenan is definitely the smartest. He's the writer. You know what I mean? He's great at writing, but as far as charisma, he just, compared to the others, he doesn't have it. Marlon is just ridiculous act-outs. But yeah, Damon is the total package. Sean is enjoyable to watch, but part of it is that he's just a good-looking, likable dude. So it's that vibe that you get from him rather than the actual. I'm trying to figure out what.
I don't know what they're doing either.
She's been quiet 100% of this time.
Yeah, she's been over there tripping.
Yeah.
I did do some research on it because I was curious why my pupils are always huge. And the two things I found was because
Drugs.
LSD, yeah.
Drugs and brain trauma and
Typically with brain trauma, though, one is bigger than the other.
right,
I have that situation.
and then light.
Right.
So I'm assuming it's the lighting in here.
But it's low light that makes them big.
I guess
And it's
the
pretty
light.
darn bright.
I don't know. All right.
She's all right.
It's
Where's my flashlight?
I can say this: it wasn't my intention to make you self-conscious about something when I came here.
I don't think
Get
she was being
smaller.
self-conscious. I think maybe she was just curious.
I was curious. Cause I don't care what the fuck my
got big
eyeballs look like. I don't care.
I see out of them, not into them.
Right.
All right, so we got Beer Kiss. Anything else going on?
Just follow my Facebook page, my Instagram, whatever.
I can't see at all.
I'm already following it. So when I post up this episode, I'll tag you in everything I post up: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, my Twitter is all crypto shit now.
I noticed. I checked it out. But I mean, hey, you big in the crypto game? I guess.
I'm deeper than I probably should be.
Yeah. Well, all right. That's it.
Dogecoin.
Fuck Dogecoin and fuck Elon Musk.
That bad, huh? Lost your ass on it?
No, dude. It's people who don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I don't
Dogecoin 100%.
I don't know any of it.
Dogecoin 100%. I don't know.
It doesn't have a use case, man. There's no fucking point in it. It doesn't do anything.
So you're just buying stock to make it go up?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, with Doge, yes. So Doge is a lot. It can be used as a currency, but it's much like the American dollar. Only Doge, 10,000 new Doge coins are created every minute of every day, constantly. So super inflationary, right?
Gotcha.
But they don't have a government. So the U.S. dollar is super inflationary too. We just print the fuck out of it. There's no limit on that either, right? But we don't have a government in place keeping inflation down on Doge. So like this last spike, it went up, and then it dropped, and people don't realize how it's going to go back up, but it's going to be twice, if not 4 times as hard to take it back up. It's going to take 4 times the amount of money today. In a month, it'll be 6 times the amount of money to get it to where it was.
Yep.
So you know about this stuff, Shorty?
I know a little bit about it. I just know, the manipulation of it or whatever, just to make quick money on it or whatever. And really, it's just...
There's a lot of pump and dump coins like that, and that's all Doge was ever intended to be. The dude that made it he did it to be funny. He thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But some coins...
And I've made $900 off of that just for shits and giggles. Because you buy it and then sell it immediately, and you sell it
as soon as it
after
pumps,
Yeah. And just watch it pump up, and then you sell it or whatever, and then withdraw the money or whatever. And I put, I don't know, $100 on it just for shits and giggles. So I'm like, I can afford to lose $100, whatever, no big deal. And then the next day, it was up $400. So I made $300. So I pulled $300 of it out.
Left the original 100. Yeah, that's what you do. Take a profit, man. That's exactly what you should do.
And that's exactly how I did it. And I've done the same thing with Bitcoin. Just I put $900 in Bitcoin, and then just waited for it to turn a good enough profit for me to pull all of my money out and then buy $900 worth of it more, and just do that. But that way you never lose.
Some coins have a use case though, right? So there's another meme coin called Grumpy, which is based on the Grumpy cat, but they don't use the same logo because the lady that owns the rights to that sued them immediately. But so anytime there's a transaction with the Grumpy token, right, whether it's buying, selling, or sending to a different wallet, 1% of that is taken and distributed to all the other wallets in the group, including a donation wallet. And so far they've given almost $80,000 to animal shelters.
Oh, that's really cool.
So you're making an investment. You get passive income. Just by holding it, you get more and more tokens. But also there's a donation wallet that gets those tokens also. And then every so often they give that money to charity.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Then you have coins like ADA, Cardano, where they're trying to create banking systems for countries that don't have banks, right? So right now those guys are pushing African countries really hard because they don't have banking institutions. It's hard to have a stable government when you can't have a stable banking institution.
Right.
So what they're doing is going in and setting up accounts for these different countries to be able to use banking institutions. So there is use case to some of those coins. They're not all just stupid pump and dump coins like Doge.
Huh.
But Doge gets all the attention because Elon Musk is a fucking moron.
Man, let me tell you what, you got a lot of layers to you, man.
I'm an old man.
Dude, it has been a blast having you on here.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
I've learned a lot. I'm going to forget most of it, but I've learned a lot. I've also learned that I don't want to get on a goddamn plane unless people don't laugh at my jokes. That was a chuckle. We're getting there.
I'll fly with you, Ty. I'll hold your hand. It's okay, buddy.
You'd hold my hand anyways. I want you there. You got to be there anyways when all this happens. Cause
you got to wear a mask now so people don't see you freaking out at least.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that. It pisses me off so goddamn bad. Somebody, I just recently booked a flight and they're like, you have to wear your mask. I'm like, God, fuck, damn it. Fucking hate masks. It's fire.
You okay?
People don't wear them anyway.
Huh? On flights,
on flights? Have you been on a flight?
You have to wear them on a
I
flight.
haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we flew to Washington this last time, they were on it. If you took it off to take a bite out of something and didn't put it back up before you chewed, there was a fucking flight attendant like, I need you to put your mask up. I need you to go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck masks.
So fucking annoyed about it.
I'm not an anti-masker. It sucks though. You know what I mean? I hate it. So I typically try to be in as few situations as possible.
You as a fellow beard haver, it's not pleasant wearing a mask.
It's not. Dude, you break it off, you fucking get it all twisted and shit. Mm-hmm. I started taking care of my beard because of the masks.
Yeah, actually. Me too. I start brushing this shit now.
See, I brushed my little baby beard, and I ain't even got a lot brushed.
I haven't brushed it today because I've been doing fucking yard work and shit. But I do an oil, I do a butter, I do the fucking brushing. And I didn't do it.
I don't do any of that.
But the oil makes your skin feel so good, man.
Dude, go to badassbeardcare.com. They've got the one that I like from them. It's called the Outlaw. It's a tobacco, vanilla, and black pepper scent. So it's like, it's not flowery, but it's also not douchey. It's pretty subtle too. But it makes it so soft. Even now, my shit looks wild, but it's soft.
Just about anything scented, I'm gonna let Ava fucking figure it out. If it's scented, I'm just gonna let her do it.
Dude, the tobacco and black pepper, it's actually pretty pretty nice. But it's not like cigarette smoke. It's like fresh tobacco.
Damn it! I like this. I love the smell of fresh tobacco.
Dude, I grew up on a tobacco farm. Well, not grew up. I spent a few years living on one, but it was neat. All right, well, anyways, that's it, because I really got to piss.
And this is a long episode, dog.
This is a long episode.
I have a tendency to be long-winded.
That's fine, man. We appreciate you coming on. You are welcome back anytime. I will tag you and everything once the episode drops, which will be here in probably about an hour.
Cool.
All right.
I'll be driving.
So in the meantime,
In the betweens time, you fucked that all kinds of up, Ty.
I know. So Ava, close us out. What do you want to tell people?
Nothing anymore.
Oh, you done hurt her feelings.
Well, I heard Ava's feelings, people. So if
Quiet, quiet the whole time, and when it was finally my turn.
Come on, Ava, baby. Do it for Shorty. Do it for Shorty.
I love that we waited for her, and then she didn't say shit unless we made her.
She,
I just didn't have much input today. I
I
don't
know.
know why.
I mean, it was fun. I mean, it was a lot of information to take in.
I just like to listen.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you shit, man. I'm not being like real.
There's your
I'll
closer.
give it you shit, you piece of shit.
There's your closer, people. Ava said, just listen. Now hit the button, Shorty. We out.
Oh, is that how we're doing this? All right.
Yeah, cue the music.